Okay, we're going to be solving linear equations by graphing. A linear function is a function for which the graph is a line. The simplest linear function is f of x equals x, and it's called the parent function. Now, a function is just another way of saying an equation, and f of x is another way of saying y. So you're used to this, it's just new terminology. And you're going to be using f of x and different forms of that and different forms of functions more and more as you progress in algebra 1 and further in your math career. Now, what did I mean by a parent function? This is a parent function right here. F of x equals x. That's the parent function. That means that it's the one that you start with, and then you do things to it, and it causes the parent function to change a little bit. For example, if we put a negative sign in front of the x, it causes the line to reverse and go the different slanted direction. If we put a plus 1 with it, it shifts it up one block. Okay? If we put a 3 in front of the x, then it makes it steeper. But this is called the family of graphs. And the family of graphs is a group of graphs with one or more similar characteristics. So, these are not all the family of this particular function, but these are just 3 of them. There are an infinite number of members of the family. And there'll be more and more that you'll get used to as time goes by. Now, the solution of an equation is any value that makes the equation true. You're familiar with that. The solution is also known as a root or as a zero of the function. New terminology that you're going to be getting used to, okay? So the solution, the root, and the zero are all the same thing. The root or zero of a function occurs when y, or f of x, is equal to 0. What else occurs whenever y, or f of x, is equal to 0? Right, the x-intercept. The x-intercept occurs when y is 0. So, the x-intercept, the solution, the root, and the 0 are all the same thing. After graphing the line represented by the function f of x equals 2x minus 8, you can determine that the x-intercept is 4. See? 1, 2, 3, 4. That means the solution is 4, and the root is 4, and the 0 is 4. Okay? So when we graph this, the x-intercept is where the solution is. You're not concerned with the y-intercept, just the x-intercept. And linear functions have at most one solution, or root or 0. What do you think, since that is y equals 3x plus 1 forms a line, and it has one solution. How many solutions do you suppose y equals 3x squared plus 1 would have? What about y equals 3x cubed? How many solutions would that have? Yes, this one would have 2 solutions. This one would have 3 solutions. The reason is because of the exponent that you've got there, okay? So y equal linear functions, which only have an exponent of 1 or less, will have one solution. So let's solve 0 equals 1/3 x minus 2. We're going to solve it in 2 different ways. The first way is algebraically. So what we'll do is we'll go 0 equals 1/3 x minus 2. Draw a line. Add 2 to both sides. Draw a line. 2 equals 1/3 x. To get rid of the 1/3, we multiply both sides by 3 over 1. And that causes this to go away, because it becomes a 1, and that leaves you with x equals, and 3 times 2 is 6. So solving it algebraically, we get an answer of x equals 6. So the root, the solution, the 0, the x-intercept is 6. So now let's graph it. Replace 0 with y. So we go y equals 1/3 x minus 2. And then we make a table. We've got x and y. And let's choose 0, because 0 is the easiest one to deal with. 1/3 times 0. 1/3 times 0 is what? 0. And 0 minus 2 gives us -2. Now whenever you are filling in a table and you've got a fraction, it's always a good idea to choose multiples of the denominator, because it makes it easier on you. So let's choose 3. 1/3 of 3 is 1, and 1 minus 2 is -1. Then we'll try 6, because 6 is a multiple of 3. 1/3 of 6 is 2, and 2 minus 2 is 0. So now we can come over here and graph our line. And we've got 0, 2. Here's 0, 2. And then we've got 3, -1, 3, -1, and 6, 0. And then we can draw a line through there, and we've got our graph of our graph of our linear equation. And when you look at this, where it crosses the x-axis, the x-intercept is the solution, root, or 0 of this linear equation. And we got 6, the same as we did when we solved it algebraically. Okay, let's solve 3x plus 1 equals -2 by graphing. First thing you do is simplify it. Then you replace 0 with y, or f of x, and you make a table. It's your turn. Pause the video, try this one, and then get back with me. Okay, so simplify it. Let's do this. We've got 3x plus 1 equals -2. We add 2 to this side and add 2 to this side, and that gives us 3x plus 3 equals 0. Now we replace 0 with y, and that gives us y equals 3x plus 3. All I did was switch the sides and put the y on the left side. Okay, this y equals 3x plus 3. Now let's make our table. We've got x and y. If we let x equal 0, then we've got y equals 3 times 0, which is 0, plus 3 gives us 3. We try 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 3 is 6. And we can try -1. You choose the numbers that you want to use here, okay, for the x. It doesn't matter what you choose. Some numbers are easier than others, but you'll get used to that as you're graphing more and more. But 3 times -1 is -3, and 3 makes 0. So now we come over here and we graph. We've got 0, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. And we've got 1, 6. And we've got -1, 0. And then we draw our line. Whoops, wrong place. Draw our line through here. And where is our answer? Where is our solution? Our 0, our root, our x-intercept. Where would that be located? It's where the y is 0. So right here is our x-intercept. It's where it intercepts the x-axis. So that would be -1. So the answer to this linear equation is -1. Alright, now solve 3x plus 7 equals 3x plus 1. Some of you may already know, just by looking at this, that the answer to this one is a no solution, but let's figure out why, okay? Simplify it. So that gives us 3x plus 7 equals 3x plus 1. We minus 7 on both sides. And that gives us 3x equals 3x minus 6. Then we minus 3x on both sides, minus 3x. And that gives us 0 equals negative 6. And as you've studied before, whenever you have an untrue statement, that means there is no solution. Okay, but let's figure out why there's no solution. Replace 0 with f of x. So we put y equals negative 6. And let's come over here and graph this. Y is negative 6. We did this in the last lesson. Y is negative 6, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And remember, y is going to be negative 6 everywhere. So it's negative 6 here, and it's negative 6 here, and here. But all the way across, y is negative 6. So now we come over here and we graph our line, and we've got a horizontal line that never crosses the x-axis. So since it never crosses the x-axis, it cannot have an x-intercept. And because it doesn't have an x-intercept, it cannot have a root, a 0, or a solution. Emily is going to a local carnival. The function m equals 20 minus 0.75r represents the amount of money m she has left after r rides. That makes sense, doesn't it? She starts out with $20, and every ride costs 75 cents. So the number of rides that she takes times 75 cents taken away from 20 is how much she has left. Find the 0 of this function and describe what this value means in this context. Okay, so let's go. We've got m equals 20 minus 0.75r. So let's try some numbers here. Let's try 0. So we start out with 0 as r, and we got m over here. 20 minus 0, because 0.75 times r would be 0, would be 20. Okay? Then let's try 10. 20 minus 10 times 7.75 is 750. 20 minus 750 is 1250. Then let's try 20. 20 minus 0.75 times 20. 0.75 times 20 is 15. 20 minus 15 is 5. And then let's try 30. 30 times 0.75 is 2250. 20 minus 2250 is negative 250. So now let's graph. We've got 0 and 20. Every box represents 3 points, so 20 would be about right here. 10 and 1250. 10 would be about here, and 1250 would be about right here. Touch. There we go. 20 and 5, that would be about right here and here. And then we've got 30 and negative 250. So 30 would be right here, and negative 250 would be about here. And then we draw our line, and let's see what we come up with. How many rides can Emily find the 0 of this function? So we find the 0 of the function, and we come over here, and it's 8 would be 24. It's right before the 9, so let's say 26 rides, okay? So find the 0 of this function is 26, and describe what this function value means in this context. It means that she can take 26 rides before she runs out of money. Okay? Now it might be 26.2 or 26.3. We didn't solve it algebraically. But even if it's a little bit more than that, she can't take part of a ride. So it would be 26 rides. Okay?